Hi everyone, I'm Tanzila Khan and with me is Yock Song, who is the CEO of
Ludus Lab.
And what do you do?
We power inclusive adventures.
And we're going on one of them in
Kampong Glam, which is this area, beautiful area that we are in.
So let's go.
Let's go. With the bike.
Yeah, with the bike, yeah.
Anyway, we are crossing over. All right. Actually, once we cross over, this is like the Bugis. This is already the Bugis area.
Right.
But we are still a little bit of a walk to Kampong Glam.
Sure. Every time I travel, I also always prefer just going everywhere on my wheelchair.
Yeah, you get to see a lot more. Actually.
And I would always avoid taking the taxi. That's like my last resort.
Yep.
And if I have to go somewhere, I'll probably go for the bus. And if that doesn't work, then I will opt for the train.
Yep.
So mostly in Europe, it's easier to travel by train or bus, but it's also a very pedestrian-friendly place, so you can always just move on by yourself. I prefer it. So what is the Bugis Junction?
So it's shopping mall.
Okay.
One of the things about Singapore though is that I always felt that our shopping scene is quite a cookie cutter model. So because it works, so they just kind of replicate it, the same model, the same shops. So almost every shopping mall you're going to find the same mixture of tenants, same items that's being sold, which is also why Singaporeans for us, right, we don't really like say head to a specific place to do shopping, because usually the place that we reside at, we can actually find all the things that we need for shopping, clothes, daily necessity and things like that. So unless there are like specialty shops, otherwise we don't really go out like to Orchard Road, for example, to do any shopping.
I see.
So that has to do actually with a bit of town planning that Singapore has done as well, because the basically with the town planning, right, they actually decentralize all the functions such that the functions, like the basic functions from food, work, play, amenities, they are all contained within the town or places that we actually stay in.
I see.
Yeah.
Also, did I tell you that how did I come across you? Like, how did I find you?
No, actually, how? Yeah.
So, I went on ChatGPT.
Okay.
And I just wrote on ChatGPT, I gave a command that I'm going to Singapore, it's my first time.
Okay.
And I'm interested to collaborate with anyone who's working on accessibility and tourism.
All right.
And would like to have some sort of international perspective. So can you give me a list of activists or local bodies doing that? That was my command.
Okay.
And you were on the top.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Wow, yay.
So this showed up. So something's well with SEO, I guess.
Well, this is no longer under SEO and SEO anymore. It's how the large language models are actually, putting in all the search terms.
Yeah. But then you showed up and that's how I emailed you.
Okay, because of the work scale, let me see. How accessible is this place right now? Hold on, this may not be the best. Hold on.
Okay.
Are we able to get out?
From there? Yeah, we can.
Yes, we can. Thankfully, so in Singapore, I think that's one of these things that I always say, well, Singaporeans are, as much as we follow we go by the books, okay, but thankfully we follow the books as well. Whenever there's a renovation work, they will always create an alternative path just to make sure that we can still, move around.
Yes, and I've noticed that that's also applicable for wheelchair users, because I could always find my way even being in a wheelchair.
Exactly. Okay, let's get into the shaded area, all right?
Yes. So what's like the weather over here? It's only like hot.
Sorry?
It's only
the weather,
hot.
yeah. It's rain or shine.
Rain or shine.
We don't have seasonality.
Yes.
So that's the setting. But we do feel a difference in terms of temperature across the years. I mean, across the entire 1 year. So let's say year end is like, usually associated with winter. Your temperature does actually drops a little bit as well.
I see.
Yeah. And then of course we have the rainy season and the rainier season as well. The Plum Frenchman.
So we have been eyeing the Plum Frenchman and we really liked the title. Okay. And finally we actually saw the
You saw a shop that's called the Plum Frenchman. Okay.
So what exactly is the Plum Frenchman?
French food, but I've actually not had food at this stop here before. So this shopping area, the Glasgow Meat Tower, is actually a relatively new shopping mall, only opened this year.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can see that it's a lot newer than the other shops that's around. So we're going to cross over. Actually, that will be the one that once we pass this building, we are almost at Kampong Glam. You're going to see some gargoyles on top as well. So that's a very interesting building. It has a lot of embassies that's actually located here. It's privately owned by a Taiwanese wealthy billionaire, I would say. Yeah.
Definitely
so they have actually
he
has a lot of money, that's for sure, because he has a lot of private artworks. So in fact, right, within his building on the public area, you have artworks that's by Salvador Dali, you have like, quite a few artists and his sculptures that's actually all around there. So you can imagine. So the other nicer building, that's actually the known as the Jewel. Come, let's make our way out. We're going to cross the road. So it's known as a tour because it is actually a tie-up between the Singapore government and the Malaysia government through the investment funds. They had a 51% and 49% share ownership to actually jointly develop. So Andas Hotel is actually located here as well, together with the other offices. I think MasterCard is here as well, some of the office.
I see. So what's the media like over here?
The media landscape?
Yeah.
Besides the traditional media, which is kind of limited, we have the Straits Times for the English, and then we have basically every language. We have one of their own official newspaper, and then most of the time social media. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever social media that we are all familiar with in the Western world, we do actually have it as well. Yeah. This is the first time that I'm seeing that they're actually doing the cleaning up. This is a massive art piece, art sculpture. What does it remind you of?
Oh my goodness, it reminds me of chocolate.
You're the first person that say that.
That should tell you.
Some says, oh, it looks like water. And I would say that if you compare to the modern shop houses that we have, actually it does look like there are stilts at the bottom as well, which is kind of like draws that resemblance for me.
I think they just copied the same thing, even if things have changed, but that kind of makes it unique.
Maybe, but
a very unique style.
I mean, of course, if you ask about how shop houses were done, it's also for a pragmatic reason, because shops at the bottom and then houses on top to run the trades and businesses. Yeah, so, but it's just a nice way to reimagine stories of history, right? Like, I know shop houses wasn't constructed based on the facts of like what a village or kampong looks like, but there's just a similarity.
Yeah.
So you will see the murals. These are what they used to have, like the way of living. There will be that the Podong Jawa, the shows, and then they will have like street side hawkers. And then Teh Tarik, the Tarik shop that we have. So now this is anyway not affiliated to the picture, but they do sell good drinks as well, like the ones we had earlier. But I think Starbucks is still my favorite. And then if you go over there to the map, so you will notice, right, this is what it's like in the 1920s. You look at the seafront. Okay, that's the beach road. So remember I was saying beach road is where everything beyond has been reclaimed. So if you look at the 2023, the beach road, everything beyond that are all the high-rise building. So you know that the high-rise building actually means it's set on actually reclaimed land. Yeah.
Wow.
And then what it was like, right? You look at the Masjid Sultan in the past. It's like a little mud brick kind of house versus in 2023. Where it's the present look and how it's like. So I think this one was about 1930s, I think. 30 plus, it was torn down and was rebuilt. So the Istana Kampong Glam, now over there is called the Malay Heritage Centre. That's actually the home of the royalty previously.
Wow.
Yeah. So they actually replicated what it's like, and it used to be that river, the Sungai Rocho River, which is now you don't see that river anymore because we actually built over, we kind of cover over all our river or canal in order to maximize the kind of land use that we actually have. Yeah, so that's I thought it's always a nice representation. And if you look at the street names, right, if you're very observant and you look at street names, right, these are actually all the cities or group of people or individuals that's actually in the Middle East as well. So you have Baghab Street, you have like Kandahar, you have like Haji, we talked about it, the Arab Street, etc. So all the street names are actually still in existence.
Yeah.
So this street that we're on, Muscat Street. That's why you have the gift from Oman for us as well. So history is kind of being represented in this,
I like that
wall mural. Yeah. So that's actually one of the magical things that Mr. Yip Yew Chong is able to do, like using a space, right, of a building, and it just reconvert it, and it just becomes an Instagrammable location, just like that. That's amazing. So if you look over here, those are the other trades and businesses that used to be a lot that's in existence here.
And I like how that window is like painted with the third one.
It is,
how
it's like
beautifully
integrated
done.
in, right? Yeah. So that's why he has this knack for details. To actually able to do that. So the murals continue to actually paint out what it's like to live in one of the shop houses that's inside there, as well as the other trades that is actually behind. Whereas this ones, these are actually all the different gifts of from Oman itself. So together with the Omani Ark, these are like representation of the countryside or the things that someone can actually see in Oman. Yeah.
Wow. Yes.
So that's why you have like the sail. The Muscat of the Jewel of Muscat is one of the ones there. That's the one that we actually have an exhibition in Sentosa at Resorts World. So they actually replicate that as part of the anniversary between Singapore, the relationship between Singapore and Oman governments, and then they came together to actually put together this traditional sail. And they actually set sail all the way without motor engine and everything, like the traditional way to bring it here. And of course the local fruits as well, the grapes, and then the sword, the sable, and then of course the teapots and things like that.
Do you know the name of the artist of the mural?
Yip Yew Chong. Mr. Yip Yew Chong.
Yip Yew Chong.
Yeah. So
remarkable.
he has a lot of like such murals, life science mural, and he actually does maintenance work. every like I think half a year or 1 year, because he himself he doesn't like it when the color starts to fade. Yeah. So remember I was telling you about diamonds?
Yeah.
So there you go. So it's actually represented as well as one of the traits that's over here.
Okay.
The diamonds. So Intan actually means diamonds.
Okay.
So Kampong Intan here used to be known as the
Intan.
Kampong village, or village, the diamond village.
The diamond village. So that's
Yeah.
how the name came.
That's how
Kampong.
Intan. No, Kampong is village in general Malay word, but Intan is just one of the.
Yeah.
You have diamond
Diamond
trade first,
village, yeah.
then you became the printing house.
Yeah.
So the printing house should be represented here somewhere. I think it's probably behind there. So you have the undertaker. That's also one of the trade that used to be in abundance around here as well. The tombstone marker. So over here, if you can see, that's the artist name, Mr. Yip Yew
Yeah.
Chong.
Oh,
Right there.
Yip Yew Chong.
Yes, that's his name. So 2023. So one fun thing about Mr. Yip Yew Chong and all his murals, right? You should be able to find a cat.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that yesterday as
Sheldon
well.
mentioned that as well because I told him
Yeah.
that. It's, oh, really? So you tried. So can you spot a cat?
Well, I would have to pay more attention.
It's around. It's around in the building.
It's on the top.
Yeah, it's on the top.
Oh, there it is. See? Well done.
Well done. Yeah. So you definitely can spot a cat. Yeah. He's a cat lover. So all his pictures you'll be able to see a cat. Usually he also will like to always put in August, and I think 12th of August. I think that's his birthday. And then the year that he was born. He's usually integrated somewhere inside one of this.
That's a nice way to put yourself and make
kind
yourself
of, it's like a
part
signature mark.
Yeah,
you know,
I
like
like
as a
that.
writer, as an author, or even as an influencer, you do a certain content. It could be something that you say or something that you
Yeah.
do, right? You will always have that signature as part of it.
I think that's a nice artist move, and I think I would appreciate that and maybe find something that I could also put in my book, in my writing or in my reels. I think I would skip the cat because that's already taken. And the cat also reminds me of the writing of Haruki Murakami because it is also believed, and I've seen a pattern myself that he also likes cats, and in his books there's always a talking cat.
Yeah, I
But
see.
he likes to add that mysticism about animals talking and projecting emotions. So
Nice.
once Sheldon even mentioned cat, my mind went there. I was like, nice, like cats have taken the artist space that way.
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
Okay, cool.
What is your artistry, Yock? What do you like to create?
I don't know actually. I'm terrible with art.
Maybe poetry?
No, I
No?
think anything linguistic is just out of my league. Anything to do with drawing is just not my forte. I do enjoy hands-on thing. I do enjoy more technical aspect of things.
Okay, that's art too,
So
in
that,
one way.
well, you could say that, but I think I'm always more pragmatic. So anyway, if you like to explore a little bit around here,
Yeah.
so this is like one of what I call as those back alleys. Okay, as you progress on, you actually notice that on the left and right side there are actually also artistic drawings by the
Perfect.
artists. So we call it the Glam Gallery.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it's like those street side artist drawing that will be there, and then time to time when a new owner comes in or like it's getting out of date, someone will come and repaint it and then rebuild and just do something different. So there's a lot of
Amazing.
artistic things on all the different alleys that you actually see
Yeah,
around here.
I mean, it makes it so remarkable. What is like the main source of money coming in Singapore? Is it tourism?
For Singapore, no. Tourism is only about 4%.
Okay.
Yeah. Financial services,
Yeah.
trading, that's a major one. Oil refinery contributes another 4%.
Yes.
Yeah, but the last part of it, we have service and advanced manufacturing. So your iPhone, the silicon waffle in the iPhone is made in Singapore.
Okay.
Yeah, so advanced manufacturing, that's also one of our strengths as well.
I see.
So we have no agriculture. The agriculture that we are talking about, we're going straight ahead. You can see the
Sure.
Sultan Mosque, that's
Yes.
Kampong Glam already.
I think most of the produce is imported. here in
Yes,
Singapore.
90%. 90% of our
yeah.
imports. There is an intention to raise that amount to a good 30% actually. So they have a goal which is called 30 by 30. By the year 2030, the intention is to have 30% of our essential produce to actually be something that is produced locally here, so that we can be more self-sustainable.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering because
We are under a lot of risks when you would have someone who dislike us. Just sibling rivalries, right? And then you have someone who dislike us, and then they will just, no, I'm not going to give you anything anymore. Just cut off all my supplies. So that's why we are very diversified. I think especially during COVID, it proves that it works well compared to many other countries where they're so dependent on certain sources, right? And when the borders are closed and stopped, your supply of something just dwindles or completely disappears. But in Singapore, we've been quite blessed. Yeah. So eggs, for example, I think there was a period of time when we are having eggs that came all the way from Poland.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And let me guess, your bananas come from Spain.
We have that.
Exactly.
We
You
have-
know how I know that? Because
How?
I was in Spain, like Canary Islands, but
Huh?
I was
Lots of
there and
bananas
all
there.
we spoke about were bananas. And
Yeah.
then here's a funny bit that in Canary Islands, a very local delicacy are the Canadian potatoes.
Okay.
But they're also imported from, I think, Brazil or some other Latin America
Okay.
country. So it's interesting how something is more local, but
Yep.
it's actually not
Not
because
necessary
it's
from-
imported as
that's
well.
right, yeah.
So I understand why Singapore would want to localize
Everything
more
is,
of its
yeah.
produce, especially
But-
food.
Yeah, but our local produce, there is more. It's kind of more specific, where it's about wanting to make sure that we have our own. For example, certain type of fishes, certain type of greens, as well as I think we can go by this way.
Yes, we can.
With certain type of greens as well as they have seafood, yunda, some of those more common things, we just want 30% of it. So eggs is the only one that we have already met our target. We have about 31% that's locally produced.
Because that's what I'm wondering, that eggs is actually an easier thing to locally produce.
It is.
You just have to get a bunch of chickens.
It is. Yeah.
Just get one chicken. And
yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah. So we've got eggs, but the rest is a little harder also because we don't have the kind of land. So, which is also why when we do our own tours, right? When we do for our regular tours, we have to go up here, and then we go down that ramp.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, la 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 la.
Okay, and then you turn around,
this
and
way?
then you head down, and then you turn right.
Okay, perfect.
Welcome to Haji Lane, the most Instagrammable land in Singapore.
I know, right?
Yeah. So what was I saying just now? I can't remember what I was saying. But anyway,
so this is
Kampong Glam. This is Haji Lane. This is the most Instagrammable lane here in Singapore.
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean,
good time for shopping, good time to buy things. There's a lot of like little hole in the wall kind of shops that offers a lot of things. The only problem that I always have here is not accessible.
Yeah, but I think somewhat manageable.
The vibe is here, but they are just like look at the steps and everything. It's like because of how narrow it is and how it was. This is original. This is all the original building that was built in the 1900s.
Yeah,
you really can't change anything.
Yes, that's also a challenge with a lot of old buildings.
Yeah, it's the same as well. So some of them, I think they did well. Like they tried to actually when they were doing the renovation. You look at that. So these are all the new shops that has actually the landlord probably have to adhere to the construction regulations. So they have to do that. But these are the older ones. You can't do much to change, and you can't enforce them to change as well.
Wow, it's absolutely amazing.
But
Look at these things.
You get a lot of things.
You know what? Now,
this is like the labu. Okay. Have you heard of labu?
I have, and I haven't caught that disease, alhamdulillah.
I hope you don't.
Yeah, same for you, because it's something that a lot of people catch up on. One blessing that I have in my life is that I'm actually not a shopping fan.
Okay.
The only thing I'm really eager to buy are books, because I'm building a library.
Yeah,
and I want to collect books from across the world. But even with books, I'm particular to buy books by local authors.
Yeah, okay.
So,
I forgot I should have. Oh, maybe Monday I could pass you a book by one of the local authors. And they actually have it in like, sort of like, they make it more friendly for those with disability to talk about one of their stories as well. Let me get hold of that for you. But meanwhile, let me also check how do I get to that bookshop that I wanted to bring you to.
I'm also curious about one more thing.
Yes.
What is this ear cleaning I see everywhere?
Sorry, what is this thing?
Ear cleaning.
Oh, ear cleaning. I think it's more of like a Chinese.
Yeah.
Not here. Not doesn't originate locally, but you know how we have ear wax in our ears.
Yeah, but it's like quite a touristy thing. So
maybe a little bit more touristy. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I wonder how do they do it, because every time I see like a spa place, they also have ear cleaning on.
Yeah, they do. On the menu as well.
On the menu as well.
So there is a think of it as like a magnifying glass of sorts. Like so they can look into your ears and then they can dig out.
So they have that, yeah, okay.
Usually, yes, they do. So it could be a high tech version or it could be a low tech, like literally just on the what do you call it, the wax digger.
Yeah.
You can just kind of dig it out.
These are like skirt. Oh, sorry, please. It's alright. Like skirts that I really enjoy wearing myself.
Yeah, I can tell. Like that's kind of like your style, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The colorful colors.
Yep. Wow, they're very beautiful, but very expensive.
Some of them, a lot of them are actually could be local designs. If they manufacture locally, things gets a little bit more expensive as well.
That I could take.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it does get a lot more expensive. But it's the same if you are living in Sweden, right? It's also equally expensive, isn't it?
It is, because a lot of things we also import. And they import from my region, like my country, which I could have it much cheaper if I'm there.
But how often do you actually go back home to?
I think now I go like 2-3 times a year.
Okay.
For work and to also meet my family.
I see.
But now I'm shifting my work
we should do a left turn so that we can cut across to the other side.
Sure. This way?
Yep, that's right. That's the right way.
So is Haji Lane opened on Sunday?
Yeah, it opens every day.
Perfect.
Or every day. But don't come too early unless you're here to take like photo shoots.
Okay.
Yeah, otherwise most of the shops probably I would say after 10:30, 11, then that's when they open up. So on weekends, this is the place where they will close up for traffic.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Hold on. This is not a zebra crossing. Okay. Okay, but let's go. Let's do that. Yeah.
Also, yes, I've seen that it's a very pedestrian-free country.
Yep.
Pedestrian-friendly country.
Yep.
But also, the laws are very strict in terms of movement. In Pakistan, in Sweden, for instance, if you're at a stop, if it's red and if there's no traffic, you can still cross it.
Okay.
But I've seen other people don't do that here. Even if there's no traffic, they keep waiting.
I think also because it's a lot more specific in terms of like the regulations, and what they can. I think people just follow the law. Let's just put it this way.
Yeah. Do that.
So I'm going to actually introduce to both of you. I don't know if you like to drink. Yesterday you had coffee, right?
Yes.
You should try the tea here.
This is a very vibrant.
It is, and it's a very touristy place actually.
Yeah, Haji Lane.
Haji Lane, and then you get all this. Okay, let's get both into the shade.
Thank you.
Yay, okay.
So I see the official language of Singapore is English.
The official working language is English, but
Yes.
the national language, make a guess. What do you think is our national language?
Malay.
You're right, absolutely right.
2 points for Tanzila.
Wow.
It's
how
very
do you know
seldom I get
that?
something
Okay,
right.
let's
Even
get
I'm
up
shocked
here.
right now.
So if you want to take a seat, we actually
Yeah.
can. Let me see. Okay, but let's see if we can find a space around
We can just
here.
grab something and walk. I don't mind.
No, so that is the place that I was telling about. But if you want to see the menu, maybe you want to come down here first.
Yeah.
Let's do that, and then after that we find a space like we could actually take this space here.
Okay.
And we can just sit down for a drink.
Okay,
over
perfect,
here.
perfect.
Yeah.
Huh.
But let's get down and then you turn left, and then we're gonna see like.
Okay. Perfect.
So this guy, that's him. That's him.
Yeah.
So he's like a mini celebrity. Hello, boss. Good to see you. Brought my friends here as well.
Yeah. Assalamualaikum.
He's a celebrity.
Nice to meet you, sir. Where are you from? India. आप तो हिंदी बोलते होंगे है ना? चलें, बड़ी खुशी हुई आपसे मिलके. और मुझे बता रहे हैं ये बहुत फेमस है, बहुत पसंद कर रहे हैं, and he says that he's a celebrity.
He's a celebrity every time. Like he had a very famous video because he can do the longest.
एक second, that is you?
Doesn't look like.
No.
Different look. Actually, that was when? That was how many years? 2 years ago. I think it's how you keep and the look and
I think now I want to have the tea.
Now you want to have
I
the
want to
tea,
have the tea
right?
because the
So
artist is
the
here.
artist is here. This one 2 years back. 4 years back. Yes, I remember COVID. Yeah, with the mask
still
on.
Very, thoughtful that we have a picture with the mask.
We should have a photo together.
We should, let's have a photo together.
We should get the drink first.
Yeah.
Then you can take a
So will
photo.
you make
with
it for us like that?
The guy will How do you get a master to do it right?
Yeah, okay.
He can do so. She's influencer. I think you do you get more.
Yes, of course. I would love to post something for you.
Okay, but what drink would you like to have? So of course they are famous for the tea itself.
Okay.
The tea, the masala
Masala
chai.
chai, हाँ.
That's
Masala chai.
that's the best.
I think garam lenge, हाँ. But
Okay.
garam is hot.
Garam is hot. Yes,
Yeah.
I also have a garam as well.
Garam,
Usually. Yeah. Hello, boss. Can I have 3 masala chai? Having here. Hot one. You want them to?
Very
Are
nice.
you going to do a performance for us? She's an influencer, not me. So I just bring her here. Today I had the privilege of sitting directly with the boss. This is always a reserved seat.
Singapore very high rental. I thought #1 expenses country, very expensive.
That you understand.
But everybody survive.
Yeah.
Everybody is okay. They can
Okay.
live in life.
Can I have a picture with you
Sure, no problem.
before you head for namaz? This was so nice.
It's
so inspiring.
It's one of those things that you can't really plan for.
No, and I really like his perspective that coming to a foreign country and building a business without very, high-tech degrees, it's a challenge. But you can do it with your own wisdom and your own willingness, and it can actually get you through. Like right now, he is like a major point in terms of celebrities coming.
He has a almost non-stop flow of traffic. I mean, we have been here for so long. There's always a customer.
Yock, I'm in the wrong business, and so are you. We need to start a tea stall right away. An inclusive tea stall.
In Sweden.
I don't mind moving to Singapore. I really like Singapore.
In Singapore, I think it's just that the tea culture here, right? The last 1 to 2 years, it's inundated with all the big brands from China. Yeah. So
How does that
Chai
make you
tea,
feel? Yeah.
Chai tea will be one of the brand.
Yeah.
Luckin Coffee.
Yeah.
That's also another brand that's just everywhere, it's popping up. But Chai tea is the one that I think has revolutionized how people look at tea.
Yeah.
I mean, Singaporeans we do drink tea, but it's usually in a bubble tea form.
Yeah.
Not so much of a chai, like a chai masala chai, but these are things that we grew up drinking as well. So we have our coffee, we have our tea, we also have the masala chai as well.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that is part of our growing up years.
And how is Chinese tea different?
Chinese tea is the tea leaf is very different. So usually for let's say a chai tea, right, we may not be using the best quality tea leaves for making this, and then we have the milk and all these things. But Chinese tea, they usually focus on the quality of the tea leaves itself to bring out the natural flavor of it.
I see.
Yeah, so if you want like very good, let's say tea and milk tea, for example, like Chai tea, for example, they only use like certain type of fresh milk. Whereas the ones we have here is usually not fresh milk, but it's condensed milk and what's the other one called? The carnation milk.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's usually the local variant that we have. So it's a little different. This is not so healthy
Yeah.
compared to the traditional, like
Yeah.
more of the Chinese
It's
tea.
more herbal.
No,
It's more herbal.
actually, they need not be herbal. So the herbal is actually another type of
Okay.
tea categories
I
as well.
see.
Yeah.
I see.
But if you ask me what makes me happy is drinking this. Yeah. So we had the chai, masala chai. Other days, like let's say yesterday, right? I would have like iced tea, for example, or just the tea with milk. That's the classic tea.
Yeah.
So it won't have the masala that's added to it.
Yeah, that's a simple tea, right?
It's just a simple tea,
Yeah.
but if it's done correctly,
Yeah.
delicious. Yeah.
Well, yes. I think now I also started liking to masala chai while living in Sweden. Usually in Pakistan, we would have someone else make the tea for us. We have our house help to help us
do
with
it
that.
back at home.
When I moved to Sweden, I had to cook on my own because I wouldn't find halal options outside my house. So if I was really craving, for example, some chicken dish like chicken wings or fried chicken or a southern fried chicken, I would have to learn how to make it myself. But because I'm just one person, so I would go on YouTube and look for recipes like how to make one cookie.
Yeah.
So at one point, my friend was like, why are you saying one cookie? Just make a batch. And I'm like, I'm just one person, so I want to make one cookie. So I'm going to make one piece of chicken, one cookie.
So one thing that we do, right, like let's say in Singapore, right, for a lot of the singles, right, is that you make in batches, freeze it, and when you want to eat it, you just take it out.
Yeah, and I've really seen that happen, but I wasn't really like aware of it growing up in Pakistan. We don't follow that much. We just
That's
like
more of the
make
Western-
something.
Yeah, actually, that's more of the Western way of like
Extorting
eating.
food,
Yeah.
but it's okay. You can freeze your food. It's still fresh,
Yeah, it is
as
fresh,
per
actually.
what my research says. It's still fresh, but it's just something we've never done growing up. So, and
That's
also,
true.
if I have to eat an apple tomorrow, I'll
yeah.
purchase that apple today. Just one apple,
Ah,
never a dozen or a kilo or
There's no economies of scale.
I don't know. But I get so worked up if there's food that's not being eaten in the next 24 hours.
Okay.
So maybe that's my way of being more sustainable. That I don't want to waste
No,
food.
but if being sustainable could be you cook in batches and then after that you freeze it and then you just heat it up again after and you eat
But
it.
Yock, I'm traveling so much. I don't even know where I'm going to be on the weekend. So the frozen food will be frozen for the rest of its life.
That's life. But I think but how has that changed actually when you move to Sweden? Like when do you actually move over?
4 years ago.
Okay.
And that's also when you moved, right?
Yeah.
4 years ago. And it was amazing in terms of living independently. I'd never done that. I've only seen other people do it.
Okay.
I didn't even know I could do it.
Was there a lot of fear for you when you moved over there?
No, I was just too excited for the freedom that would come with it. Finally, I get to do things out of the bounds of, gender limitations
Yeah.
and a little bit of patriarchal thinking as well, that guys can do this, girls can do this. I really wanted to give myself a chance to see what I can do. So I didn't think too much even about my disability.
Yeah.
I just wanted to take the opportunity and run with it.
So why Sweden? Like was there an opportunity that brings you there or?
Yes. So I had been to Sweden 10 years ago for a leadership exchange program by the Swedish Institute. So I had already been there for 2 weeks. I saw the country.
Yeah.
It was very nice.
Yes.
And then fast forward, I was applying for my master's degree in different countries. So I
Okay.
got accepted in Ireland, Germany and Sweden. And it took me a little bit of time to decide that I'll go to Sweden because Germany's offer was very limited. It wasn't
see.
on the table by the time
Yep.
I decided
Yep.
I could go. And Ireland seemed too far off. Like Sweden was a bit more central in
Yep.
Europe.
Yep.
Ireland seemed too far off. So then I decided Sweden, but I didn't know that there's going to be a huge language barrier until I was there.
Was this there? Because they do speak English as well, but
In a very secondary way.
Yeah,
Their
okay, I
primary
see.
language of business, of communication,
Yeah,
of
okay.
public conversations is
Communications as well.
always Swedish. Even the collar lines are also
okay. Because
Swedish.
I live in Copenhagen before.
Okay.
For half a year. I was on a student exchange and I did head to Sweden as well. So my impression was that you can get by with English.
You can get by.
Yeah.
But if you want, sorry.
A lot of people, as you said, they speak English.
Yeah.
So if you're just traveling, if
Yeah.
you're visiting,
It's fine.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
But as you were saying, if you want to live there
Yeah.
and make a living
Yeah.
by
English
working
is
and
not
communicating with Swedes, then
makes
they
sense.
prefer everything in Swedish. Like for me, I work with technology. So when it comes to coding, all the people that I interact with, they speak in English. But if I am a customer-centric one,
Yep.
then they would highly recommend and prefer Swedish.
Swedish as well. I
So
see.
when you are working in this field,
Yep, it's
and
very
your
different.
main job is interacting with the governments and the other businesses and making things happen, then they prefer Swedish.
So did both of you pick up the language?
Absolutely not.
Oh dear. I was expecting absolutely yes.
I know. I wanted to throw you off again because I don't know what's your reason. Maybe because it's not a requirement for your field of work. But in my case, I was so mobile. Even when I was in Sweden, I was traveling to different countries for my work, for speaking engagements, that I did not find the time to settle down and actually
to pick up the language.
pick up the language. And also, my scope of work is very international. So even with the board game, it's for a foreign international market. I do look forward to locally collaborating and producing the board game in local languages, but that could happen through partnerships. I don't have to actually
Yeah.
learn the language.
Yes.
So I was a bit mindful of my time and energy. And also, Yock, I realized that with age,
Yeah.
you don't realize it, but it does, catch up with you. You do get tired more quickly.
Absolutely.
And-
You're speaking to someone who's older than you. Yes.
Well, you know what I thought about your age earlier, so
Yes,
I,
but-
I'll still hold on to that. But yeah, and then when you're living alone, you have to cook, you have to clean, you have to do laundry. Also, I was thinking the other day that deciding what to eat and
Yeah.
cook
Yeah.
used to be like my entire master's degree was being applied to these kind of tasks. That okay, I have to strategize my laundry. How do I how much bash do I take? to wash now and then the next batch and then bring it back. It was a whole logistics program I designed for myself. So,
That's hilarious. Okay.
well, you see that.
Yeah. That's hilarious. But yeah, that's true. It's true.
How was your experience in Copenhagen?
It's actually a very nice experience. I think the whole environment was an eye opener. Moving out from Singapore to there. I mean, I've been relatively quite independent even in Singapore, but I think moving there gives you the chance. You cook and everything. Me and my roommate, we were staying in a house. Actually, that has our landlord who's like a mother to us as well. So she's very kind, and she let us use the kitchen and she let us use her home to always host different friends.
I see.
So we were running parties, not say parties, but hosted dinners and meals, right, almost on a weekly basis.
Wow.
Until to the extent that one day she came to tell us that, Yock Song and another friend is like, I think you should cut down on the number of hosting.
Okay.
And then she said the electricity bill is getting very high. Because we were cooking a lot.
Oh,
because it's
yeah.
expensive to eat out. And we were students, right? And we were looking at it at about, when was that? 2008, about 17 years ago.
Wow.
17 years ago, and at that time, even with the Singapore dollars to the Danish kroners, to the kroners and the euros, it was like the all-time high.
Yeah.
So I can't even afford to eat a sandwich out there on the street
Oh
or
my
a hot dog
goodness.
sandwich. It's like bloody expensive. That's the word I would use.
Yes,
Yeah.
I completely agree that right now it would be even more expensive because 17 years ago it would be different. And Danish krone is expensive than
It's
British
a
krone
lot
as well.
more at time. But now if I were to go over, it's like, oh, everything feels okay. It's
Yeah,
like
now
same
it
as
might-
Singapore because
Yeah.
it has dropped so much, the euros has depreciated so much that
Yeah.
it's
fine,
all right.
yeah.
It's fine. Yeah.
I think
So
now if
those
we
were the
compare US dollars with Singaporean dollars, it's like a little bit of a difference. But I'm so okay. Like, no, it's fine. It's fine.
It's-
because
it's
when you
all
spend
right,
in
yeah.
euros, you're like, okay then.
Yeah, so I guess there are advantages, and I think at that time when I moved over, being still relatively, a student, young age, right? You look at the world differently. I really enjoy how we had to move around on bicycles. It was a very green cycling, and it wasn't a common concept in Asia at that time, like cycling towns and things like that. So imagine when I came back, and then Singapore starts to push for more cycling pathways, cycling network. Immediately I associate that, that seems to be that kind of development that we're actually going after.
Yeah.
So you actually see that happening in your own home country.
Yes.
We are moving towards, more green transport and things like that, which is something that I've already experienced before moving back here.
Yes.
Yeah. So similarly, when I moved to China, for that 2 years that I was there, what I realized was digital mobile payment. It was so prevalent in China at that time. Every time I come back here, we feel like we are in a village.
Oh.
Everything is to cash.
Yeah.
So I was very excited. Imagine when I was 1 year, I remember 1 year into my posting, and at the time when I came back here, we started to have a QR code payment. I was very excited, and I went to one of these stores. They had that. I wanted to pay. It doesn't work.
Oh no.
I asked the uncle, the store owner, and she looked at me. I don't know, cash.
Oh.
So I still pay cash. Yeah. So you
Well,
can imagine, right? There was such
yeah.
a huge contrast because in China everything was digital and mobile first. But shortly after, because of COVID, Singapore actually widely adopted all the digital payment.
Earlier
so as a
on.
result of COVID, actually our payment, digital mobile adoption rate, right, from what they say, some studies, right, it has actually accelerated by about 5 to 8 years. Because of the COVID, everyone was forced to adopt it. You had no resistance because that's the only way you can survive.
But does that give any sort of an advantage to the business owner as well? Like there are
It does.
incentives, right? There are benefits.
I mean, there were incentives to encourage, but it's more of the seniors, right? It's the senior store owners, right? That if they don't accept digital payment, they will start to realize that, like foreign visitors, when you're there, you can't pay. Yeah,
But today, what happened with us? Like we wanted to get some
Grab.
food.
That's why Grab.
But
if you had Grab, you can actually pay.
It must have been
Yeah.
easier.
So as long as you have a QR code, most of the QR code, even if you use the Grab app, you can actually pay for it. Yeah. So because Grab is a cheaper cost than having a terminal, a credit card terminal. So that's how mobile wallet became the next thing after your digital payment
Right.
credit card systems.
Right.
Yeah. So it helps with a lot of adoption as well, I think. So there are advantages. But the seniors, like you asked my mom, it takes a while for her to get used to
The
making
card.
card payment, but I think she's now quite comfortable.
I'm glad about that because I
Yeah.
remember even with my parents, my dad was okay because he's been out in the world
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he works with people, so
Yeah.
he was okay with cards. But when my mom got her first debit card, I took her to an ATM and I
Yeah.
was trying to tell her
How
how
it
it works, and she wasn't too comfortable with letting the card completely be taken in
Yeah.
by the machine. And I
Yes.
still remember the card, she put it in and it went in, and I saw a little hand movement
Yeah, she
go
was like
behind
shocked.
the
Oops,
card.
like-
and-
like, how come it takes my
exactly,
card,
and she's
right?
like, it's gone. I'll never see it again. And then after a while, she learned that she can easily take out cash that
Yeah.
way. So it takes a while.
It takes a while.
I'm also curious about one more thing that I've seen people refer to older people over here as uncles and aunties.
Yes.
Now that's a very South Asian thing to do. And so that's also a thing over here.
It is very common here. Yeah.
Nice.
So in fact, we, even though we may be Chinese or addressing a Malay, senior, Indian or Chinese, we use the same term, uncle and aunties.
Uncle and aunties.
Yeah. To the extent that, especially for the Chinese, like the generation, so like my generation, we grew up, like my parents say, oh, this is like the second uncle, so in English it's all the same as uncles or aunties, right? But in Chinese, you actually have different points of like reference terms that you call them, address them differently based on like whether they are mom's side or father's side.
Exactly.
We completely, by my time, it's like everyone is uncle auntie already. And so my kid, when he grew up, he looks at everyone, it's still the same uncle auntie. Never, we don't really know what's the official terms to use.
Exactly. And that's a little different in Europe, because we refer to everyone by their first names, regardless of their age.
That's
and that is a bit of a culture shock for me, coming from Pakistan, because we don't really address anybody by their first name. If there is someone older to us, uncle and auntie, but if there's someone of my age, I would call him brother.
Yes.
Or
sister.
very rarely, or sister.
Yeah.
If they're younger to me, I would actually call them son or daughter. But that word is clubbed together, and it's like beta. So like beta, do this, beta, can you do this, beta. So beta is referred, although it's a very masculine term, it's referred to both for little girls and little boys both.
That is in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So we could all, if you're talking to a very young domestic staff at home, domestic helper at home, we'd be like, beta, ye kar do, beta, can you do this? That's what it means. So it's like uncle and auntie, brother, sister, like bhai or behen.
Yeah.
If there's an older domestic helper at home, we're supposed to call them bhai. Like it's like, I would say like Ashraf bhai, Akram bhai. The younger one is beta. So it's like a whole family, the whole family.
Everyone's beta.
Everyone's family in one way or the other.
This is a dilution of, I would say, some of the culture and respect.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, right?
Yeah. I'm also curious about one more thing. I'm very happy to see that there's no homelessness. And I would like to know more about what kind of interventions have taken place to make sure it doesn't happen.
It's not that there's no homelessness, but there is actually a very active policies and programs in place to actually, so the government, right, basically is to say that everyone should own a home. Right, whether it's a temporary or a permanent one. The aim is that if you have no home, we put in a temporary. From a temporary, if you can get, then the next thing is we'll get you jobs, we get you financially stable. We want you to get out of a temporary home and get a permanent home. So that is that step-by-step policy that's already in place. So we actually have a lot of volunteers and individuals who will actually be monitoring. So let's say, like I think about a year or two ago, there was a case of this girl who is slightly on the low mentally impaired as well. And that she actually lives with the dad in a market store, in one of the market stores. So every time at night, they will put out the cupboards and went to sleep over there. Until someone reported it. So the social workers came in, the minister, member of parliament that looks after the area came in as well. So then they actually moved her into a home, and the dad as well, put them together, and also try to find out more about the situation. So the aim again is that from there, they want to make sure that they have the right accommodation. If they can't afford to pay, the government can pay for it. But the thing about Singapore's government is that it's always, you need to also take that initiative.
Yeah.
If you are hoping for welfare, it's not going to happen. But if you're going to work for welfare, yes, it can happen.
That's a good model.
Yeah, so that's something that the government is always looking at. We are not a socialist country in that sense, but I think with the aging population, if you look at policy trends over the last couple of years, 5 years, because our election is every 5 years. So we just had an election this year. So from last 5 years policy to now, we are starting to see even more and more of moving towards a bit of a socialist, where you want to support more of the seniors and the vulnerable. But the fundamentals is that we can support, but someone needs to pay for it. So that payment cannot be from the next generation. It needs to be from the current generation. So that has always been the thinking. The current generation has to pay for what the current generation needs, the next generation for their own next generation. So that's why there's always about, we want to make sure that whatever policy that comes out, fiscal-wise, it must be sustainable, such that within the 5-year terms of the government, they need to make money out of it, and then whatever excess will be put into the government coffers and funding for other investment and everything, so that it becomes more responsible as well.
I see.
So that also means that from a financial perspective, right, we are quite blessed where we have a governance that works. We also have like businesses that works that can contribute financially as well. So hence a lot of the homelessness that you see, they do get the minimum support to move them into temporary accommodations, and then from there further assessment if are they able to work, if they can work, get them some sort of jobs, and then you get them to try to move and upgrade out of it.
I see.
Yeah.
So that is why I've not seen anyone
So
homeless.
even the homes that you're staying in, right, it's not a dedicated, like, oh, this is an area for the homelessness. We actually don't have it.
Okay.
They integrate it into like our
Residential
living
areas, like normal areas.
So even though it's like if you read through and dig through, oh yeah, you know that this is the area that has a lot more like renter flats. That's the way we call it. But they are still maintained well. law and order is still in place. So technically, it's the same as everyone else.
I think with these very, very thoughtful policy in place, because that makes a lot of difference,
Yeah.
because that way you also stigmatize somebody. So for example, if someone has been in that dedicated space and once they're ready to be reintegrated, they still have that tag.
That's right.
So once they move back into
Yeah.
the society, they carry that tag, and that becomes an isolation, itself.
Yeah. So
With that said, I also believe that there's a lot of gender equality here, right? When it comes to salary for men and women and all those feminist ideas.
actually, I think it's still there's definitely I think there's
Yeah.
still some, but I think in general, Singapore is not so bad. Yeah. So it is still based on less of gender, but more on ability.
Okay.
Yeah, because we are very international. So we have a lot of women in power, women in position as well. A lot of the board, I think in Singapore, in terms of like board members, I think we've got like 20-30% of it. It's not like 50-50 yet.
Yes.
But there is basically the recognition that anyone can be. It's based on ability and nothing to
I
do
think
with
that's
gender.
fair, and that's how it should be.
So that's I guess the same as a lot of the developed countries out there, where you're trying to move and tilt the balance such that it's 50-50. Like as long as you have the ability to take on this role, you take it on.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we don't really have a case where just because you're a woman, you're less capable, you can't actually take on a lot of things. You're actually unable. You look at the CEO is a lady,
Yeah.
right? Maggie is a lady herself. A lot of government agencies, you have the head, there are ladies as well.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily true that only a male can take
Absolutely.
on positions like this.
That makes a lot of sense.
Even within our parliament, I think this year they've got about 25% of females, or more than 25% of females. Yeah,
That's
in
a
parliament.
good ratio.
Yeah, and a lot of them, qualification-wise, they're highly educated and things like that. But it's interesting that in Singapore, all these things, we always have different representation of different races. It may be deliberate. It is deliberate, I would say. But I think it also helps to ensure that there's representation from everyone.
Speaking of representation, I am also curious about visibility of disability, for example.
Yeah.
Like in Sweden, sometimes you do see that billboards do have people in a hijab to show the representation of the immigrant community over there,
Yeah.
which is great. Here, I don't see any billboards. We don't have any.
Yeah, whenever you see a government one, you always have the four races represented
Okay.
by default. The Chinese, the Malays, the Indians, and then Eurasian looking.
Okay.
You always have
So
it.
that visibility is there.
Very
I'm just
visible.
curious about visibility in terms of media, like when you have like TV programs and newsreaders, and so do we have representation of course, ethnicity, gender? I'm sure there must be there, and also of disability. Is there like a broader conversation on that?
Yes, I think the disability representation is actually coming on board these days. So I would say a few months ago, when Singapore Tourism Board actually launched their video on promoting Destination Singapore, there's actually a scene of a wheelchair user.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means that
It
they're
is
considering
coming.
it and they're talking
It is
about
all
it.
now being
Yeah.
integrated in, and we start to actually have on our TV programs, like they will deliberately have casts for someone with disability. So like the guides that we see yesterday, Sheldon hasn't been on TV not in this kind of program before, but a few of our members they were acting in some of this program as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So Jackie, which you didn't get a chance to meet yesterday, he was also featured as one of the commuters on our public transport.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
and someone with disability. But they didn't actually shout that it's a person with disability. It's just you can see, but they don't do any extra shouting about it. So it's really trying to be just letting you be visible.
Be
and it's
subtle about
represented.
it,
Yeah,
that-
we don't have to say, you are someone with
Yeah.
disability.
Not to make a huge deal out
We-
of
we
it.
don't, yeah.
That
That's
makes
why
it
I think the
awkward.
nuances on the language, like, it's something that we are all learning. I'm also learning myself because sometimes I forget about it,
Walaikum assalam.
Yeah. Even I myself will forget about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why, or someone who will point out to me, hey, you shouldn't have said yes, you should have said that. I said, okay, I remember. I'll try to remember the next time. Yeah, like the zero project. I think when I was starting the introduction, it's just a slip of my tongue, right? I said for my visually impaired friends.
Yeah.
So actually, it's not a nice thing to say.
Vision impact.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
so what
I
is
was
the right
I was trying to
way?
describe myself, right?
Yeah.
So the way to say it, you just describe yourself. Why do you have to sound out that this is for someone who's visually impaired?
Yeah.
You see? So someone reminded me after that. Can you imagine? Like I was like, yeah. Actually, when I said it, I was like, shit. Why did I say it? It's just habitually, maybe I just blurt it out.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the intention to discriminate.
I would not completely call it out, because the truth is that, for example, if I'm there and there is an access for me, so if someone says, oh, for all my friends on wheelchair, this is your option, which is true. So in a way, it is factual.
It is factual, but
So-
to some of them, they just
Yeah.
it's not music to their ears.
Yeah.
They felt offended. So I take that into consideration. It's true. Like I don't need to say that.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I mean,
fine if
it's-
you feel
it's-
that way.
yeah.
Because one, I completely forgot to describe myself. I really wanted to, because it gives you a chance to look at yourself, okay, what am I wearing? And if I want to say, what will I say? So it's a kind of a nice exercise to do.
Yep.
But we only had 3 minutes and I didn't want to take too much of my time there. I thought to myself, why does it matter what I look like, Tanzila? Just say the work that you do that matters. So I kind of pulled out myself.
Yeah, that's why the different interaction with the community is something that I'm learning as well.
That's something I would also want to ask my friends who are visually impaired, that would you like something like that? If someone tells you what they look like, do you want to know? Let's see, because they might say no, it doesn't matter, because that's not something we register anyways.
But one of the things that they were telling me is that as a habit, it's good to just say who you are before you start speaking.
That is true.
That
to
is
say your
very
name
true.
or
Yeah.
maybe some reference to
That's right.
Build some context. For
That's
example,
right.
if I go on talking about gender issues, I need to say I'm from Pakistan, and
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So
That's why
it's
we have
providing
those
a
challenges.
context, because if you're only listening, you can't. So the closest example I would say is that think of it as when you're having a Zoom meeting, you
Yeah.
have a room full of people and someone starts to speak. You're
Yeah.
like, who's this person? Like you were trying to find, it may not have been spotlighted, right? Who's this person that's talking? Like you didn't even introduce yourself, like who you are, like you're just talking about someone, something, right? So at least like I'm so and so, I'm Yock Song. It's like, okay, at least, okay, I look for Yock Song. Like, who
Yeah.
exactly is this person on this list?
That's very fair, because
So I
that's
think it's very
accessibility
fair.
as well.
Exactly.
That's actually
It is, it is,
accessibility.
it is. So that's a good reminder for me, because it was right after the conference, and then we were just talking, and then I said, actually, you're right. I noticed this are like, maybe it's a habit thing. I wasn't well prepared for it,
Yeah.
but I'll do better the next time.
Well, I think we're all in the learning phase.
Exactly.
I also wanted to share that tomorrow, inshallah, I'm planning to go to Universal Studios.
Okay.
And I'm excited to see, of course, the Universal Studios.
Yep.
And also the accessibility scope
Yep.
over there.
So you can take the train all the way in.
Okay.
You can. So you take from MRT to Harbourfront, and then you take a Sentosa Express. It's all wheelchair accessible all the way in.
And what do you recommend? How much time should I dedicate for the studios?
1 day.
One entire
You
day.
spend so much money going into Universal Studio, might as well you spend.
That's what I was wondering, that because there's so many other things I also want to do, like
know.
Gardens by the Bay and Sentosa.
Yeah,
and
but the thing is, because you go all the way to Universal Studio, you probably have to spend some time getting into your rides and everything. They do have rides there. Are you able to transfer yourself?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you can, then there are rides that you can actually do as
Okay.
well. So unless they require you to, as long as you can transfer or certain requirements, you should be able to spend probably more than half a day maximizing your time inside there.
I think, yeah, maybe I'll
Yeah.
I'll aim for that. Yeah, not a problem at all.
But if you feel that adventure and doing rides is not your cup of tea, then go to the Gardens by the Bay. That's a nice place, very accessible.
I think I would consider both these options. Also, I did speak to Gerald as well
Yeah.
about a potential collaboration with the
Yeah.
board game. So if that happens, maybe I'll come back, especially for the Gardens by the Bay.
Yeah.
So
But you
maybe
can always go to gardens at night, because the garden only closes actually by 9 p.m.
Okay.
So if you do want to, one option is that if you do garden, let's say Sentosa, Universal Studio, and then if you leave at about 5 to 6, you can still have time to go to Gardens by the Bay, do one of the domes. They have a light show at 7:45 p.m.
Yock, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
And all your knowledge and your insights, your personal stories. I feel so inspired right now, and I'm so excited for Monday, because we will talk more about
Okay.
your work with Ludus Labs, and I'm so excited to share it with the world.
Thank you so much.